So how does he go from shoes to the bowling industry?
Well, I'm not sure what the moment was, but he ended up doing the shoes and the bowling at the same time for many years.
And those kind of go together. You have bowling shoes. Like, okay.
Yes.
I see the connection here.
So he had downtown Butler across from Penn Theater.
Yeah.
Where the pool table hall used to be up on the second floor.
Okay.
That was a business he bought, and it was called Penn Lanes. And I think he bought it around 1954.
Mm-hmm.
And Pin Boys would have actually have worked for him, where they would have literally set the pins by hand. And I'm not sure. I don't recall ever being in there. But in 1956, there was like a technological change in the bowling industry to where they had gone from pin boys to automatic pin setters. And that was one of the things about my dad was he was not afraid to try new things. Okay.
Risk taker?
Yes, he was. He was. I always felt he was like ahead of the pack on a lot of ideas early on. Okay. Even later on when he built his first restaurant and he had a bar, he actually bought the very first automatic bar in the U.S.
What do you mean automatic bar?
It was where you press a button and a drink would come out.
Really?
Yes, the very first one in the whole country he bought.
That's amazing.
And it was here in Butler. So,
I can't live. I'm just figuring that out now. It's crazy.
Yes, I mean, so he has sort of like big shoes to fill in the sense of he did this, he did that.
Sure.
And, he did a lot of things before it was like cool to do.
Right.
Okay.
But I'm sure in risk taking and being a businessman, that's how he was able to build so many of these businesses.
Exactly.
Like you have to be able to take a level of risk if you want to succeed in a big way, right?
Well, yes, and some things work, some things don't.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
It's just like life. Okay. But he was not hesitant. A lot of times, his accountants would say, "Don't do this, don't do that." That's not a good idea. But I hate to say it, a lot of times he still did it. And then he ended up in some of these cases proved him wrong, and proved him wrong in a big way.
Sure. So did he find his initial bowling alley? He found that profitable enough to then go into you mentioned restaurants. Did he go next into restaurants while simultaneously owning the bowling alley, or?
Well, in 1956. He rented some space on Hanson Avenue, 80 Hanson Avenue, and that was called Bowaway Lanes. And he had some partners. He over the years he had probably like at least 3 or 4 partners down there. But one in particular I remember was Bob Morrow, and Bob was great. Okay, Bob would be. He was not only a great bowler, okay, and he also had that personality that the customers liked. But Bob was able to work, let's say, the bowling center during the week, and my dad, who was the traveling salesman, he would be gone like Monday through Friday, and then my dad would come and work the weekends. Okay, so they had a great relationship, okay, for many years, and that contributed a lot to their success, because my dad, to be honest, he worked 7 days a week.
Right.
Okay, I mean, he was one of technically 8 kids.
Wow.
Okay. And the first 2 kids ended up dying from the 1918 pandemic.
Okay.
his two older sisters that he never got to meet. So,
wow. So he's building these businesses. You're saying in the 50s. From obviously I wasn't around then, but from history that I know about this county, the 50s and 60s, Butler was booming pretty heavily. It was growing. People were moving here. Businesses were starting left and right. So he also was, I don't know if lucky is the word, but the timing was good for him.
Yes. He was in the right place at the right time. But like a lot of things, you have to be able to open that door. You have to be able to see that this is an opportunity that awaits you. Okay, if you don't open the door, you're not going to be able to walk through it. Okay, and he was willing to take that risk.